Welcome to So You Think You're Awake, the show about life transformation through dream interpretation. I'm Michael Sheridan. On this show, through analysing your dreams, I reveal your potential and the obstacles you need to overcome. I'm very specific. I tell you the magic power you have, what makes you magnificent, and the bumps in life that are holding you back. These bumps are not in the way, they are the way. To get in on the action, go to dream-analysis.com, fill in the form and submit your dream to the show. That's it. That's all you have to do. I will take it from there. So this week I'm just going to cover a few dreams of varying themes. And the first one that I have is from Nancy. She says, "We were on a Coast Guard ship. It was docking. We went downstairs to the edge of the ship. We stepped over a low bar to the dock, but a woman crawled awkwardly under the bar. The dock was in a large wooden boathouse/warehouse. I wanted to go out and walk around, but it was evening and the big doors were being locked. I was guided to a door and a hallway where I met my guide. He was the actor who played the main engineer on Stargate Atlantis. We walked up a rickety wooden stairs. I went first. At the top of the stairs were two doors that seemed to lead to the same place. The large one was closed and the narrow one was open. I walked through the open door and looked back at my guide, who was a little overweight, and wondered if he would make it through. He did." Okay, so I'll stop there for a second. It's always interesting, isn't it, when you hear a dream, especially because I didn't stop anywhere and say what anything meant. You're probably all listening to it and going, that just doesn't make any sense. But it's always fun then when you see what they do mean. So we have several symbols in here that make this timeline be about the dreamer's birth. The first is she arrives at a dock, a ship arriving at a dock. Any arrival, like a ship's arrival, a train arrival, an airplane arrival, that's always about your arrival on the planet. We call a new child a new arrival. And we also have the pun when it comes particularly to ships. Ship's birth at a dock. So we have the pun. Spelling's different, but the pun is there. And then we also have her moving downstairs to the edge of the ship when it's coming to the dock. And the moving downstairs is moving from the spirit world, the higher vibration, to the lower vibration, which is the physical earth plane. And then the last one, which is a very, very common one to see, is she talks about there being two doors, one wide one and one narrow one, and she goes through the narrow one. Going through a gap or a narrow doorway in a dream is always going to be about birth. So three symbols there tells us about birth. What else do we see in there? We see lots of references to wood. We see a rickety wooden stairs. We see mention of a wooden boathouse. And there's more mentions of wood later on in the dream too. But that means that the dream is talking about the dreamer's elimination system. So she may or may not be aware of this. I'd say she would be, though, with all the references there. But it's not really anything serious. It's just saying, hey, that digestive system problem that you're trying to figure out and solve, it actually comes from birth. So you need to look back at your birth in order to fix it. Do some therapy around birth. Now, there's more in the dream. She meets a guide. She's guided to meet a guide in the hallway. So this person is aware of her guides. I'd say she's consciously aware of her guides today. And she's also a channel because she meets an actor. Her guide is an actor, and an actor is told what to say. So it means that she can be told what to say by guides, and that's what a channel does. So the other thing that we see is she talks about there being two doors that seem to lead to the same place. And two is a very common thing to see. The number two, very common in dreams for people who are channels, because the two-way communication is so important. We see it shown up time and time again. It's the number two. Anything else in there? There is. I'll come back to one other piece later on, but let's continue on for the moment. But there you go. We go from nonsense to total sense. Here's the next paragraph. "He shepherded me out of the building to a large observation deck well above the water. The rail was made of two horizontal pipes. It was dusk, but I could see the slough or slow river coming through the woods to this wider section of water. I travelled past the building to where our ship docked." Now, I told you wood was going to come up again. So it goes through woods into this wider section of water, and a forest or woods is undoubtedly always going to be about elimination system. So definitely the dreamer wants to improve something there. and might even have been on her mind looking for solutions to this before going to sleep. But I did ask her about her birth, and she said, yes, my umbilical cord was wrapped around me. And the hospital staff said it was the longest they had ever seen in all their career. So there was an issue at birth. I vaguely remember her telling me that there was something else, like way before birth, while she was in the womb, but I can't remember it now. What else do we have? Yeah, the observation deck. So this means that the dreamer kind of like steps back and looks at life. Rather than having a perfect bond with the earth plane, she stepped back. And this is a classic thing for somebody who would make a really good counselor, because of the poor bond, which they have to suffer all the way through until they do something to heal it, which is what this dream is suggesting. But the sacrifice that they make allows them see things that other people don't see. So they can see uniqueness in all their friends. They're the person that everybody goes to for help when they can't figure things out, because they just have a different set of eyes on the world. They see things. Anyway, what else have we got? There's also a mention of 2 horizontal pipes. So the 2 is always going to come up for a channel. Anyway, in the water were spotlights, so those of us on the observation deck could see under the water. Now, these are your special ability. So these, the lights in the water means that you have a strong intuition, a strong psychic connection, strong connection with your soul, and you're able to use that to see into the spirit world, because that's what the sea represents. My guide pointed to the left at a deep depression in the water and said that it is where an ancient ship had crashed long ago. He asked if I'd like to go to a lower observation window and take a closer look. But before I could answer, he walked to the right and he said, I want to show you something. That area of the deck had no rail, and he stepped off into the water. I wondered if I should have followed him. And the answer is yes. You always follow your guide in a dream, because anything they ever do is perfect. It's infallible. Anything they say is infallible as well. So definitely should have followed him. And I actually think I got 2 copies of this dream, because I do remember, and I think it was this dream, the dreamer actually going into the water and seeing a city. But maybe I'm mixing 2 different dreams up. I don't see Atlantis often in dreams, but that's what this spaceship that crashed to the left is about. Now, Atlantis wasn't a spaceship as far as I know, not that I know, but we see the guide says that there was points at this deep depression in the water to the left, and the left is the past in the dream. So he's saying, look, this went on in the past, and the ancient ship is going to be about people with deep spiritual wisdom, or knowledge, let's say, so deep knowledge of the spirit world, and that's what is down there under the water. And he says, do you want to get in touch with this? Do you want to do what I'm doing, dive into the water and get in touch with it? So it means that this dreamer had a connection with Atlantis. Now, we know that from the start of the dream, because the astute listener will remember that she said her guide looked like the engineer on Stargate Atlantis. So even without that, though, we would know that that's what this is about. I don't see it that often, but I have seen it in enough dreams to know what it looks like. And this underwater spaceship or an underwater city or something along those lines is enough to emphasize it. So that's it. You've got a strong counseling ability, you have a strong channeling ability, and a strong psychic ability, or strong intuition. You're meant to use those. You brought them with you. That's why we see them in dreams that talk about your birth. And using those is going to help you heal your body and deal with the elimination system issues that are going on now. So thank you, Nancy, for that dream. She called it aliens in the water, by the way. Aliens, we've had that in dreams recently, where somebody's afraid of a UFO and things like that. And it's always about guides. It really depends on your culture. Aliens from the heavens, or anybody from the heavens, it's going to represent your guides. And depending on your culture, depending on where you're from, you could dream of other things. So, for instance, Westerners who have no knowledge of Asian culture could dream of Chinese people, and they could represent guides, because it's such a different culture. Now, that's not that common, but it's common enough to see that in dreams. It's such a different culture. It's like, hey, here's something you need to learn. You need to learn the language. You need to learn to communicate, and so on. But there'll be other symbols in the dream that say, that tell us it is about communicating with the spirit world, which is what it generally is. So let's have a look at another dream. This one is from Shante. I hope I pronounced that right. She says, I was at my job, which is a home for special needs adults. Well, fair play to you for what you do. But we ignore that part because that's part of your reality. And you say, I was on the phone with a male friend that I talk to all the time. Now, so the clue here with the phone tells us it's about channeling straight away because it's communication. There was a knock at the door. As I was going to answer, I was pulling my pants up trying to fix my clothes. When I answered the door, it was a man who is an actor on television who is named John Marshall Jones, and he had a singing telegram. He gave me a paper with which it was supposed to have the information on about the telegram, but I really couldn't recognize it. These are the words of the dreamer. The dreamer typed. Don't blame me. He started singing happy birthday to me, and I'm thinking to myself, it's not even my birthday. Yet the guy on the phone was silent as this was going on. When the song was over, I closed the door and the man started checking the mailbox. And then I said to myself, oh, he must be the owner. And then I woke up. Okay, so let's start at the end. You're meant to check for messages. He checked the mailbox. He's showing you what to do. Anybody with a title in a dream, so anybody who is a singing telegram person, that's a title. A title I made up, but they have a title. So that says that you have, they're a guide, and whatever they do, you're meant to do. Just like the last dream, jump into the water after them, i.e. get into your spiritual side. This one is saying, check for messages. You are getting messages from your guides that you are ignoring. You have a channeling ability, and that's what I said the phone represents. But then you also say he was an actor on television. So another dream where we have another actor and also saying channel, because again, actors are told what to say, just like channels are told what to say. And then singing is another symbol for channeling, because music comes from the spirit world, and anybody who's had a near-death experience, almost anybody, talks about hearing this harmonious music all the way through their journey. And so its strong association with the spirit world makes it about channeling too. So we have several symbols there from that dreamer. And she says at the start, I was pulling my pants up, trying to fix my clothes. And I assume your pants weren't down around your ankles, that you're just pulling your pants up because they slipped down a bit. So that's really saying, look, you need to check your attitude towards this, because that's what clothes represent in a dream, your role or your attitude towards a particular role. And so it's like you need to pull your pants up and get on with the fact that you're a channel and learn how to do it and start doing it. And we also see a reference to birth in this dream, just like the last dream, but it's more obvious here because he's singing about saying happy birthday. So it's like you came here with this gift. And this is true with every gift that everybody has. The gifts we practice with them for years before coming to the earth plane. We don't need to learn how to use them here. Of course, you can do courses, etc., etc. But channeling is one of those things that you want to really be careful about. There are so many ways to channel, and you need to know how it's going to work for you. So be careful about picking up a book that says, I'm going to teach you how to channel, because it may not be about how it works for you. And if you try to do it the wrong way, you're not going to get anywhere. Some people have a few different ways that it works, mind you. But even so, you want to know exactly how it works and practice that way, because that's the only way it's going to work for you. Let's have a look at another. This one is from Willow. She gives 3 dreams. I'm only going to do one, I think. She says, my ex pays me money. I was somewhere with my oldest daughter's father, and he said he was going to give me money soon, like $7,000 plus. And I was surprised, and I asked him to repeat what he'd said. I didn't understand his motivation. I wanted the money, but didn't know why he was doing it or what I might owe him. Then he said he would just owe less child support if he paid a large chunk now. I also saw a map of the globe, and it started with zooming out of Africa and panned over to the USA, and I thought it interesting that so much of the USA was lakes and water. Then it zoomed in on a pretty lake that had the reflection of the colors of a sunset or sunrise on it. Okay, so this dream is saying, okay, so you have to know a little bit about the background of this dreamer. So she is one of these people that she lives in the West, she lives in the US. The Western world has very specific attitudes towards sexual conduct, sexuality, and so on, that are unique to the Western world. They're not shared by the spirit world. The idea of monogamous relationships, the idea of getting married before sex. Well, let's put it this way: marriage doesn't even exist in the spirit world. So what we have on the earth plane and the lens through which we decide to explore ourselves and our sexuality is very much man-made here, but we still pick this culture for a reason. And that's the reason I'm saying that is this person, you would have, if you knew her life history, you would have thought she escaped that because she got into kind of, with her first boyfriend, who's the father of her oldest daughter, she got into a lifestyle where you would say she had escaped the whole idea that sex is dirty and everything that goes along with that. That is very much a Western culture incorrect attitude. There's nothing dirty about sex. The sexual act is what allows spirits move from the spirit world to the physical world. Women are the doorway between the spirit world and the physical world. And a child coming into the world and the sexual act that causes that to happen is very much respected in the spirit world. It's just not respected in Western culture. So anyway, it looked like this person had escaped it, that Willow had escaped that. But then it turned out that her partner at the time, her longtime boyfriend, decided that having an open relationship was something that was okay for him, but not for her. And so it all toppled in on top of her, and it's part of, according to this dream, it's part of her spiritual journey. That's why he's going to give you $7,000. So the dream is saying, work on the issues around him, deal with the issues around him, because figuring that out, healing from that, is what is going to, is a vital part, a very vital part of your spiritual journey. And we know it's very vital because it's not just the number 7, it's got 3 zeros after it to emphasize it. So this is 7 is about your spiritual journey. So this is part of how you heal and grow. Now, Willow also worked helping save women who were in the sex trade. So it's an area of interest that she has. She was never abused herself. So it comes from somewhere. This whole exploration of this aspect of human nature and her nature is a huge part of how she's going to grow and heal, grow spiritually, that is. And so she's got to work that out. And it's not about what's his motivation. And this is a big thing. If you look at your partners or ex-partners, especially when there's a child involved, and if they think, oh, every so often we're going to get together and hang out, and there's no long-term relationship requirement, etc., that's a pressure that women who are raising children from men who are out of their lives can feel, and she does feel. And so that's one of the things that she's got to overcome. But it's not about you understanding his motivation. It's all from your perspective. You got to figure it out from your perspective. You've also got to make sure you don't pick men who are unavailable, like you're currently in a relationship with a guy who's married. And that's a classic for, if I really don't want to commit to a relationship, I can pick somebody who's not available. And I can say, but I don't know why it is. Why am I always attracted to those people? And you do that because it's an easy out for you. You know that relationship is never going to go anywhere because you don't want it to go anywhere. And so this is all part of what you've got to explore. You had great brownie points, I'd say, when I was talking about you helping people who are trapped in the sex trade. And then I probably blew it all with the last statement. But anyway, that's it. That's what you need to do. The investment is from your side, the investment in working it out. And then the dream says it shows you a map. And a map is really good. A map always shows you where you are. So it doesn't matter where you think you are. Where you are is what's important. And anytime we look at a map, we have to figure out where we are because we need to know that so that we know how to get to where we need to get to. And most of us most people who are trying to do stuff in the spiritual field or in any field, they look at where they want to be. And it's almost like picking the map up and looking at that point and not looking at, well, you're actually over here, so these are the roads you got to take. This is the path you've got to take. We look at where we want to be and we start acting like we're there, which doesn't help, doesn't get us there at all. Anyway, this dream, because it shows a map of the globe, it's saying, and it zooms out of Africa. Africa is about the root of things, the cradle of civilization, so it's like where everything comes from. So it's saying, like, deal with that root issue. That very basic issue where you understand where you're coming from. And then you will move from there into lakes are all about saying you have a deep spiritual reservoir that you haven't tapped. And, because there's no flow in a lake, it's a calm body of water. So you need to create outlets for your spirituality, but you need to do it after you work on this big issue for you, because it's a big, big issue. And when you get to the end of it, you'll understand why. And before you get to the end of it, you won't understand why, which is where you are now. And you say that you ended up, it zoomed in on a pretty lake that had the reflection of the colors of a sunset or a sunrise in it. So this is like shine your light through your gifts. You have this inner light. You probably don't see it in yourself because you're probably very critical of yourself and the issues that you have in your own life. You're like, okay, and the things that you see in life and have seen in your life, you're hard on yourself that way. And so it's saying, look, deal with that, and then you're going to see your own inner light reflected in the spiritual gifts that you have and bring to the world. Okay, so I hope I did that one justice. Let's have a look at another one. Okay, so it might have been last week or a couple of weeks ago, I did a dream from Leah. And here's another one. She says, and they're probably not even in the right order, but she says, I was on vacation somewhere foreign with family members. I liked it okay, but then I saw a giant yellow and orange snake like a Burmese python. I pointed to it and others reacted with fear too. We scattered, but suddenly began seeing them everywhere and they were on the move. I decided to try flying and it worked. Now, I don't expect you to remember her dream, but the analysis of her dream, basically it was her moving through a house, hiding from a lion. And it was about her hiding in the womb. So she didn't feel wanted, didn't have permission from her mom to enter her mom's body. And so it's like the baby is developing in the womb and doesn't feel like it's welcome, didn't get permission, etc. And maybe you do, because I made some good quips on that one. But anyway, this dream is the same thing. I decided to try flying and it worked. So this says that you have the ability to rationalize. You move up into your head. That's your escape mechanism, which is what flying represents in a dream. You analyze. I was off the ground. I was a little concerned that my parents would see me. See this? I want to hide from my parents. I don't want them to see me, because if they see me, they'll be like, we don't want her. But under the circumstances, it was worth it. I went inside the house. My mother suggested we go in one room. So the issues that you have are around your mom. That's what you need to heal. This dream is about, it's kind of a warning about health issues, but it's not common for your dreams, but it's still a warning to do with elimination system, digestive and elimination system. So this is another reason to deal with the issues around your mom and the not being wanted in the womb. Anyway, she suggested we go in one room, but there were slime trails there. Okay, yeah, definitely, we know it's elimination system. And you say, ooh, and I say, ooh, too. I found a room and could land and rest. Then the snakes left, and it turned out they come around the same time every day. In some cases, it can be a lot worse, with hundreds swarming someone's house. So this feeling of the snakes, okay, I'm saying it's a health warning, but it's not a really big health warning because we don't see this much in your dreams at all. But it's more about you also feeling like a snake by being unwanted and being in your mom's womb. And that's really the link. That's why you've got that showing up there. And I'm going to skip that and just go to the next scene. Skipping a bit, moving to the next scene, you say, I was hiding in the kitchen from people I knew. So again, this hiding, I didn't want them to know I was there because it might mess something up and you don't know what it was. Then somebody knocked. I sneaked to open the door and told the young girl there that I could let her in, but she couldn't tell anyone I was there. So again, this hiding, that's your thing. That's what you've got to fix. And it's going to solve so much in your life. So go back, look at that, figure out what it comes from, and all the other things connected to it are going to happen. Like your spiritual leadership ability, your health issues are going to improve, and so on and so on. So quite good. Let's have a look at another. This one is from Erica. She says, I was hanging out with a friend in the woods. She had a pop-up camper attached to the back of her car that fit one full-sized bed with white sheets. She said this is how she travels around the country. She had to go do something, so I laid down to sleep, and I worried about my safety, and if I traveled the country this way. Now, what you need to know about Erica is that she's one of the bravest people I know. She actually is traveling different countries, foreign countries like Mexico and Europe, Latin America, not just Mexico. And she's doing it on her own and just going from place to place to place. And this dream is about that. So we see the pop-up wood and the pop-up camper in the woods, and the being worried about safety and so on is important for her because that's the lifestyle she's currently living. And we're going to come back to that. Then I was on a beach trying to outfit a woman with a purple ski jacket and boots. The sheepskin boots looked like they were too small, but when I handed them to her, I told her they would stretch to fit her feet. The waves were crashing into the shore and getting better or closer. I went to my cabin a few yards away, and the waves were crashing into the front door and had booked the door frame, blocked, I imagine, the door frame, so the door was no longer attached. Okay, so they'd hit the door frame so the door frame was no longer attached. I had to sit inside in the floor against the door to keep the waves from flooding my cabin. There was no furniture to anchor my feet and hands for strength. We see anything else that's important. Then I was okay. So this is really saying, okay, this journey that you're on, this is an important thing for you to do. Like we look at the purple ski jacket and boots. So purple is about spiritual leadership, but a jacket, you don't normally see a jacket with something that's as positive as leadership. So it's like you protect yourself with your spiritual side. So it's like I have a strong spiritual side, and that's my escape. I escape to that, and I'm able to forget about all the problems I have in the world, and I know I'm really good at doing the spiritual things I do. And this dream is saying, no, you've got to integrate your spiritual side into the rest of your life. Like you going on this trip, furniture in dreams represents attitudes that you picked up from other people. So and we have the waves crashing at the shore is about a very difficult start to life. So the dream is saying, look, you need to unanchor yourself from all the things that you hold on to or held on to that allow you keep life closed off and closed away, keeping the water out of the building. And so this trip is about you discovering who you are and giving yourself the support that you need in life so that you grow. It's all about growing your male side, healing your male side, and that's what your journey's for. And it's definitely going to give you that. And by the end of you doing all this, like you'll be an unstoppable force when it comes to male energy, but you will understand it fully from your perspective, which is absolutely fantastic. Okay, well, that's it. That's my show for this week. Thank you for listening. And remember, go to dream-analysis.com and send me your dreams, and we will have them on a future show. Thank you.